Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be rejected twice, canceled dates. Well, I've actually got 5 emails I'm going to go through with you today. And some of the emails, the guys are trying to get their ex back, and they've been turned down a couple times when they asked to go out when she's reached out to them. And a few of them are also where guys are in situations, either women they were dating or women they screwed up with, and they had some canceled dates, but the women are continuing to reach out. So they're all some unique situations, but a little variation, because I know a lot of guys, at least half my audience, is in these kinds of situations. It's usually why they found out about me in the first place. So before I get into that, I've got a quote I want to read you, and then I got a quick testimonial from a guy who was able to turn around his 18-year marriage with what he learned from me in my book and the YouTube videos and the articles on my website. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into today's quote. And it says, "The quickest way to get someone's attention is to remove yours. When someone ignores you, disrespects you, or treats you like a second-class citizen, and you continue to stick around or tolerate it, you're inviting them to do it to you again and enabling their behavior. Just like when you are negotiating, the strongest negotiating position is being able to walk away and mean it. If you don't get terms or treatment that are to your liking, stating what you want and walking away is often the only way others will come to respect you enough to give you what you want. Even if they don't ultimately give you what you want, they will at least respect you, as your walking away communicates that you value yourself enough to seek satisfaction and fulfillment elsewhere." Very powerful words to live by. However, when you're mostly hung up with somebody who's not treating you the way you want to be treated, it's very hard to walk away. So I'm going to read this quick testimonial that a guy sent in today. Actually, right before I was going to shoot these videos, I saw it come by. I was like, well, this would be kind of a cool way to start today off with. And he says, "Hey, Coach, thanks to your book, which I bought on Amazon.com, and your articles and YouTube videos, I am a man again. I never knew how to be a man in relationships until you came along. Bravo, bro, you rock. I almost lost my 18-year marriage due to being an emotional tampon. Now my wife looks up to me as a strong, confident man. I'm actually a work in progress, but hell, anything is better than the emotional rag I was. My wife also thinks you rock. She says you speak what most women wish they could tell their men." Thank you very much for that. You know what? Give your wife a hug and a kiss, and say, "Thank you, baby," from me. So let's jump into the first guy's email. And he says, "Hey, Corey, it looks like she strikes again." This particular guy, I think I've answered a couple of emails for him in previous videos. He says, "LOL, we've talked and chatted a few times regarding the ex who can't go into becoming my ex. But are women this crazy or this predictable or just cunning as shit?" Well, when you apply the things that I teach in my book, women become predictable, and I mean that in a good way. It's really nice when you're really emotionally irrational and hung up and you're in a fearful state and you start applying the things that I teach in my book, and the behaviors that you're getting and the actions that you're getting are exactly like I talk about in my book. That'll give you a tremendous peace of mind. That's another reason why I'm always saying, read the book, read the book, read the book. Have you read my book 10 to 15 times yet? Usually when I'm talking to people either in phone sessions or I get emails, the answer is usually no to that. And so for those of you that haven't read my book yet, either the Kindle edition or the paperback edition, if you go to my website underneath the email sign-up box, there's an image of my book. If you click on that, it'll take you right to Amazon. And below that, you can either click on the Kindle version and download it in under 60 seconds to any electronic device, or you can order the paperback edition by selecting that one. So if you haven't got it yet, do yourself a favor and get the book to learn the fundamentals. Watching the videos and reading all the articles on my website, which are helpful, you still have to learn the fundamentals. Otherwise, you're going to be fucking up unnecessarily. He says, "Since our last discussion over 2 months ago, what do you think happened? She strikes again. Just wow. I do continue reading your book and watching your videos to stay sharp. I followed your words of wisdom and tried to do my best, but what the fuck? As you know, I have done more things right than wrong, but in the beginning I did a few stupid things along the way. I must say I've done exactly what you recommended over these past few months, and just as you predicted, if she's interested in me, she will reach out. So, you told me no contact, so I did no contact. A few days ago, I hear from her with a stupid little text saying, thank God it's Friday and cheers. Something we did during our relationship. That's typically what happens when a woman starts reaching back out to you, either after you got dumped and you walked away, or you started doing something stupid, or when they just miss you. That's because they're not going to ask you out, but this is typically how it starts. And so you should always assume that if she's reaching out, oh, she must want to see me and make a date. He says, I waited a few hours to respond, and once I did, we chatted back and forth a few times. Nothing about getting together, because in the past, I asked her to get together twice and got shot down both times, but that was back in January or February this year. Obviously, right now, we're at the about a week left of June. So this is like four months have gone by. So like I talk about in my book, you're going to ask on 2 consecutive different occasions. And if she shoots you down both times or won't agree or make a date with you, then you have to stop asking. It's really important that you do that and bite your tongue. He says, and then I said I needed to run. It was nice hearing from her, and do keep in touch. Huh. Where have I heard that before? Well, just like I always say, 2 to 3 text max back and forth, or 2 to 3 minutes on the phone if she's calling you, and you always end it the same way, whether it's a text or the phone call. Hey, it was great hearing from you, honey. I got to run. Keep in touch. And what it's going to communicate to her is that you're busy, you're doing something else, and you're really not investing much of your time or your energy because you've tried. You tried twice in the past, and she blew off, and here it is, still 4 months later. And she said, so you do the same. And he said, of course, I did not respond. 2 days later, on Father's Day, she sent me a note on Facebook and also sent me a personal note on Instant Message to make sure I saw it. Well, that's a good sign. It shows that she's being a little more aggressive. Basically, he hasn't heard from her in 2 months at this particular point. So he says, I waited a few hours again and then responded with thanks, and say Happy Father's Day to her dad. What's crazy, then she posted a few pics on Facebook of our vacation last year at the beach. No one in them, just landscape, but she knows I know, LOL. That's what she's doing. She's trying to see if she can get you to pursue or call or start reaching back out, which would be the wrong thing to do, because at the end of the day, last time she got in touch, she tried to make dates and she blew you off. She's like, I'm busy. You want a woman that's like, fuck yeah, when you ask her out on a date. Not a woman that's like, fuck no, or fuck that. He says, I've not mentioned anything and not going to, and will continue with the no contact and waiting for her to reach out to me. She's still seeing that other guy, but if that was going so well, why the hell would she reach out to me? Well, it's obviously not going so well. And the fact that you are textbook following what I've taught is having an effect on her. He says, I watched your 2 videos multiple times titled, She Texted Back After 3 months and She Called After 8 months. I haven't heard from her since, but it's only been a few days. Obviously, you know women better than I, but what the fuck? I don't get it. Dude, like I say, they're predictable, bro. This is what happens. Things obviously aren't going well with the other dude. She's thinking about you. She's sticking her toe in the water. She's trying to stir the pot and see if she can get you to take some kind of action. And you're having nothing to do with it, which obviously is confusing and has a positive effect on her. Her attraction level, I should say. He says, I'm using patience and I'm not going to chase her. If you recall, I got dumped, so as you say, it's up to her to approach me. Like, after all, you've already asked her twice and she said no both times, so you're not asking anymore. He says, I'm having a great time dating and meeting other women and truly enjoying myself and not sure whether she knows it or not, but I'm sure her imagination might be running wild. Absolutely. Let it run wild. This is what I talk about. It's a scientific fact. Women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. You're not being rude at all. You're nice. You're happy to hear from her, but you're not doing anything to facilitate a get-together. And one of 2 things will happen. She'll either bring it up or she'll stop contacting you. But at the end of the day, she's still with the other guy, so it's a moot point. It really doesn't fucking matter. He says, I hope I'm doing the right things in this situation. I guess I was wondering what this might mean from a woman's perspective, knowing what you know. Is she really just keeping me on the back burner? It's just fucked up. Thanks for all the great videos and book. This is what happens. By you doing nothing And this other guy, because remember, 97% of guys out there don't know this stuff. And so there's a 97% chance he's going to fuck it up eventually. And it sounds like through her actions that that's what's in the process of happening. However, your best course of action is moving on with your life. As if she's part of your past. She ain't part of your present. She ain't part of your future. It's nice to hear from her, but at the end of the day, you've made all the effort that you're going to make, and you're moving on with your life. You're not going to ignore her, but you're always going to respond with the same thing. Hey, it's great hearing from you, but I got to run. Keep in touch. And like I said, one of two things will happen. She'll say, hey, you know what? I want to see you. Let's get together. Or she'll stop contacting you. Either way, you'll either get her, or you'll find somebody even better with the new women that you're dating. So you're doing great, dude. Good fucking job. Keep it up, man. I'm proud of you. So let's move on to the second email. This guy says, yo, coach, it's me again. The guy trying to attract his ex back that lives out of town. Well, you're one of like hundreds that I'm working with right now, dude. So he says she came into town the other night, and we ended up hanging out and having fun, but not hooking up because she has a boyfriend. But she admitted that she still has feelings for me and was all over me all night long. I flirted back and told her that I still had feelings for her too, but I did not push it too hard. She also told me that she missed me and that her boyfriend didn't make her smile and laugh and turn her on like I do. You notice how she's making out and doing everything but having sex with you. So in her mind, a lot of women are like this. Kissing is not cheating in their eyes. It only becomes cheating when you're actually having sex. Therefore, she doesn't go all the way, so she doesn't have to feel guilty. He says, the next day I decided to send her a quick, nice text just saying, great to see you last night. He says, was that a bad idea? Yep, absolutely, dude. You shouldn't have fucking done that. This is a woman you're trying to reattract who blew you off, and she's got another guy in her life now. You don't pursue. You gotta let her come to you. This is part of the strongest negotiating position, is being able to walk away. You mean it. You value yourself. Therefore, she chose another guy over you. Why would you pursue her at all? You allowed her to come over to your house. That's why I say when you're in this situation, you don't take them out. You don't go on dates. I had a guy the other day that did a bunch of extravagant things with a girl. Same situation. He didn't get laid. And I was like, dude, this girl offered to make him dinner, and instead he goes and takes her on this extravagant date, does all these things, and eventually at the end of the night gets back to his house and is unable to seal the deal. And she had suggested, I'm going to make you dinner, I'm going to bring the stuff over, it's going to be great. But instead he plans a date. Hang out, have fun, hook up at your place. When women dump you or blow you off or cancel that you screwed up with, they have to come to you. In other words, hey, grab a bottle of wine and come on over to my place, we'll make dinner together. Hey, why don't you bring some tea or coffee over, and if you're a non-drinker, and we'll make dinner together. It's that simple. You're not going to go out of your way for somebody that blew you off. This makes them earn you back. It communicates that you're not placing a higher value on them being in your life than they are placing on you being in theirs. He says, also, now that I know she still has feelings for me, would it be okay to text her in a week or so if I don't hear from her and just say something like, hey, I hope you're doing well, or something sexual like, I had the dirtiest dream about you last night. I feel like I can get her back, but please tell me how I should play this. Abso-fucking-lutely not, dude. You don't reach out to somebody that ditched you and blew you off. No way in hell. Abso-fucking-lutely not. You must let her come to you. Because now what you're trying to do is to go right back to over-pursuing, which is what got you ditched in the first place. After all, she came over and made out, but she has a boyfriend. You don't chase women that have boyfriends, dude. All you're going to end up doing is giving yourself a bad case of blue balls and keeping yourself stuck in friend zone. I would do nothing. Next time you hear from her, same thing. Invite her over to your place, make some dinner together, hang out, have fun, and hook up. It's that simple. Do not call her, dude. You're not going to get anywhere by that approach. So let's jump into the third email. This guy says, hey, Corey, I need your advice. I've been in a relationship for over 3 years now. This last year I've been working at a nursing home while I've been preparing for auditions at the university where I want to study music. The last 6 months have not been great. My girlfriend started to go cold and we ended up seeing each other about once a week. That's what happens. As her attraction level drops, she tends to be busier and busier and doesn't have much time for you. It's no fun when you're in that place and you want to see her and she's like, I've been there. I wrote about that in my book. It feels like shit. I've been there. I feel your pain. He said she did not seem to be very attracted to me anymore, and sex became more and more rare. This did not make me pursue her more, but I could not find a way to raise her attraction level. I believe the reason she could have gone cold is that I've been her manservant and not stood up for myself. Well, that would definitely qualify as a big reason why she's not that attracted to you, because you stopped acting like that charming, masculine man who was a leader that she fell for in the first place. Eventually, she asked me just to be her friend, and I said that that was out of the question, and I could never be just a friend. Good job. He says, we did not agree to anything, but we now ended up talking about our relationship almost every time we spent time together. If you've been following my work, you should be hanging out, having fun, and hooking up. Not talking about getting back together, not rehashing all the drama of what went sideways in the past. You got to look at it as a fresh start. You got to look at it as if someone you're just starting to date for the first time. You're literally starting over at square one because her attraction level has dropped. He says, but all this time, she would still kiss me and spend the night with me, but no sex. That sounds like fun. The funny thing is, we're now moving in together. Come on, man. But we're not sharing a bedroom. Dude, what are you thinking? Oh my God, I'm putting you in timeout, bro. We're moving out of town to study, and we're going to share an apartment with 3 other friends, all girls. Well, hopefully they're hot girls. He says, I thought things were getting better now that we're moving in together, but last week she said she did not want to be in a relationship. I got a little mad because I did not want to live with her as just a friend. Well, it's like you were seeing things your way, but you were ignoring the fact that she's saying, I don't want to be in a relationship, and she's going to have her own bedroom. And even though you said you weren't interested in being friends only, you agreed to basically move in together as just friends. He says, we've signed a 1-year lease. I did not think it was fair to lock me in with her while in friend zone. She agreed. She then asked me for a break so she could feel how it is to stand on her own feet. She said that she had changed a lot over the last 3 years, but did not know how it was to be her without me. Over text, because she's out of town, I agreed to the breakup and pause. I said that everybody should get a chance to feel how it is to stand alone. She said, thank you for understanding. That's the last I've heard from her, and I've not texted her, and I do not intend to do so before she reaches out to me. Just found your videos on YouTube. They're great and help me a lot, and I'm definitely going to read your book first chance I get. Don't fucking delay, dude. Read the book. You gotta learn the fundamentals, man. He said, but I'd like your advice on how to proceed. So I wouldn't do anything. Hopefully you can get out of that lease, because I wouldn't move in with this girl. You're out of your fucking mind to do that. Absolutely not would I do that. I'd wait to hear from her, and then when you do when she does, or if you do hear from her, make a date. Make her come to you. Make her come to your place. Hang out and have fun and hook up at your place. But you got to make it clear, anytime she throws that friendship crab in your face, say, look, I'm not interested in that. Don't call me unless you're interested in something romantic. We don't have to get back together, but I'm not interested in this platonic shit at all. If that's what you want, you need to move on with your life, let me go, and I can move on with my life. You got to make it clear. You got to be willing to walk away when a woman is serving you a shitburger like that, going, hey, you want to be my gay male girlfriend? Fuck that noise. Absolutely not, dude. But you're doing the right thing by waiting to hear from her. But when you do, make a date, make her come to you, make dinner at your place. And if she's unwilling to do that, withdraw the offer. You got to be, because she will try to get you to jump back in the friend zone with her. Because you agreeing to sign that lease was like, it showed that you weren't really congruent with your words, that you didn't really mean what you said when you turned her down about moving in just as friends. So let's get into the 4th email. This guy says, hey coach, sorry I didn't catch your stuff a few months earlier. I'd be in a better place. Well, you found everything happens at the right time. What happened, happened, and couldn't have happened any other way. He says, anyways, the woman that I'm writing in about, we met back in high school and we were both interested in each other, but we were way too young back then and shy to do something about it. Then we saw each other once every year or two, but kind of missed each other. And then one day there was a high school reunion. She was there, and when she went to leave, I sat on the table and told her, I want to see you again. And we did. We hooked up, but she lived in Berlin and I lived in Paris. But we stuck with it, met up in Prague, Amsterdam, and then I go to Berlin once every 2 months, or she'd come to Paris. Crazy love, and then she decided to come back to France, find a job here, and after 6 months we got a small flat together with the intent of saving money for projects. I finally got a job as an art teacher, showing my own creativity but giving me a steady paycheck. Then she started nagging me with marriage, so I asked her parents for her hand first, then her, and she was giddy and accepted. A month later, she told me that before marrying me, she wanted to go to the Reunion Island with some girlfriends to work the land at an organic farm. I had gone with her, but I was stuck with my damn teaching job. Plus, she'd have traveled with her girlfriends a few times before, and I always trusted her. When I met up with her there for 10 days, she was cold and distant. That's not a good sign. You just got engaged a month earlier, and now she's acting like you're a second-class citizen. Huh. Maybe something else is going on. He says, and I was down from work and had a death in my family, and I wasn't in my masculine. Well, that's definitely not helping your case. He says, but I finally confronted her about her selfishness, and then we had sex. I thought everything was back to fine, especially when I was leaving. We were kissing passionately and laughing, but I still had a bad feeling. When she came back in the middle of May, the first words she said were, "We need to talk." That ain't good. She will always love me, but she's not in love anymore, and she wants to go back to the island, build a house with her bare hands, and she doesn't love me anymore to marry me. She needs to realize herself. Damn, that went, see, like, look, that was so fast that happened. You not being in your masculine, not being a leader, and more than likely other dudes around. It just, obviously your relationship wasn't as solid as you thought it was. He says, I spent a day with her later, and she would kiss me on the neck, and she told me she'd miss me so much she had tears in her eyes. I feel awoken like from a coma, and now I know what I know. I quit my teaching job, focused on my art, took up sports again, and I went to NC for 3 weeks. I don't know what NC stands for. North Carolina? Someplace in Europe must be. Then she Skyped me out of the blue just the day we were both invited at a wedding, and I skipped the conversation in 42 seconds, and we'll see each other tomorrow. At the wedding, I did my Hank Moody. Must be a European thing. I don't know who the hell it is. I was in my masculine, and we danced like crazy and had fun. And I told her about my leaving for Thailand for 6 months with my buddies to make art, sports, and party. Good for you, dude. Communicates that you're moving on with your life. And I told her to do her thing, and that I would be back for her in 6 months after my rebuild up. You'll be back for her? Not the right thing to say, dude. You should just go on with your life and live in the moment. But now you're talking about, oh, we're going to get back together. It's no way. She disrespected you, dude. This girl's like, I want to marry you, and then she blows you off. He says, that was last Saturday, the 14th. Now we haven't had much contact. I restrained myself from seeing her, and I don't really know what to do apart from working on myself, my art, and seeing other people, which I've had a hard time. It's the best thing you do. I know you don't feel like it, but you got to move on with your life. Because that will communicate that you ain't fucking waiting around for nobody, especially a girl who's like almost 1 month begging you to marry her, and then you get engaged and she blows you off like you're nothing. He says, also, I know she had an affair over there on the island with a horrible, hippie, dread-haired, fruitarian guy. That sucks, dude. That means she is disqualified. She can only be a sex playmate. She ain't wife material, bro. Fuck that. She deceived you. He says, I used to be a player and I've known girls, but this one is special. She's a special sex playmate and that's it. Friends with benefits, that's it. She ain't girlfriend or wife material, dude. She fucking dicked you over. She's lost you forever as a potential partner. I would never give this girl another chance. Because if she did it to you once, you taking her back just basically says, hey, please do it to me again. He says, what do? Do I let her leave? You don't have a choice, man. Do her thing? Do I get another shot in the future? Do I try to make her stay somehow? Absolutely not, dude. You've been watching way too many fucking movies. He says, should I move on? I know, but would somehow feel like defeat. Well, you've already lost, bro. She fucked somebody else. She cheated on you. Hello? So what I would do is nothing. Move on with your life. Do exactly what you told her you're going to go. I know it's hard and you don't feel like it, but at least you're free. And what you got to realize is she ain't wife material. If she reaches out in the future, assume she wants to see you and have her come see you. Don't go to see her. Don't go out of your way. If she wants to see you, she can come visit you in Thailand or wherever you're at. And when she does, if she brings up getting back together, say, look, honey, I love you. I will always love you. And I'll always appreciate all the special memories that we have. But bottom line is you cheated on me. And I will never trust you again. But we can be sex playmates. We can be friends with benefits. We can hang out. I always love you. I always adore you. But it's like, I will never marry you. And I will never get back together with you again because of the way you've treated me. And it's like, you burned your bridge. But I still love you. We can have an open relationship, but that's as far as it's ever going to go with me. And you got to be clear. And even if she cries and pleads with you, it's like, abso-fucking-lutely not, dude. You've seen her true colors. She ain't trustworthy. No fucking way in hell. But like I said, wait to hear from her. If you do, invite her to come see you. If she says, no, why don't you come see me? Say, no. It's like, if you want to see me, you can come see me. You gotta grow a set. I know it's tough, and I know you're hurt, and it sucks. But the bottom line is, this is why you date for several years before you get engaged or you get married. So you see the true nature of who you're with. You acted weak for what, a month or two? And she's already fucking some other fruitarian dreadlock dude? Fuck that. She's out. She fucking blew it. You deserve better, bro. Stand up for yourself. Don't tolerate that bullshit in your life. So let's get in the fifth and final email. And this guy says, hey, coach, is this just bad luck or did I go wrong somewhere? Well, let's take a closer look. He says, hey, coach, I read your book 4 times. I know I got 6 more to go. And I also watch your videos religiously. While I'm not an expert on the material, I would like to say I know it pretty well. I met this girl through a mutual friend using your techniques and went fantastic. 1 date a week, high levels of interest, kissed every date. She wanted me to meet all of her friends, family, etc. Well, that's something you do when she's head over heels in love with you and she's your girlfriend. You don't start doing that after a couple of dates. When guys start doing that involving girls they've only been on a couple dates with and friends and family and all that shit, it gets too serious too soon and you'll scare the girl away. Even if she's talking about that, just say, you know what, let's just get to know each other for a while and see how things go before we start, involving each other in each other's lives. Because I don't really want to get to know you without all your friends around. And same thing with me. I want you to get to know the real me without all my friends around, so we can have something really solid before we start taking things to that level. So he says the 4th date went well, but ended the same way with first base. Since she won't have her license till mid-July, I have to drive, meaning I can't bring her back to my place for some indoor Olympics. Her mom was always home, picking her up, going back to my place, then to hers, then back to mine. Just isn't in my interest when she's 40 minutes away. It's like the girl's 19 years old and she still don't have a driver's license? What the fuck? I got my driver's license when I was 16, man. I don't know. Maybe you're in Europe or something where the age is a little different. But at the end of the day, in order for sex to happen, you got to have a place to go. You got to figure that shit out. You're an adult. Figure it out, dude. And if you can't figure it out, figure it out. He says, here's where it goes south. Her father passed away back in March. On top of that, her super controlling ex-boyfriend, who she broke up with in December, is obsessed with her. Well, she keeps him in the friend zone and says how she would never date him again. She told me all this at the end of the 3rd date. I used your techniques and just listened, and she told me how great I am for just listening and not making her feel tied down, and a make-out session followed. For the 5th date, she was going to be in my neck of the woods, and I was going to meet up with her and give her a tour of my town and then of my bedroom. She never showed. Oh! After 15 minutes, I texted her asking where she was, and she said how she forgot to tell me she couldn't make it. He says bullshit. Yeah, that is a steaming, stinking shitburger. That's fucking rude, man. He says, I simply replied to give me a heads up if that happens, because I could have made other plans, and find a day when you're free and we'll reschedule then. She never replied. What does that tell me? It tells me she doesn't fucking give a flying fuck about you, dude. Maybe the ex-boyfriend's back in the picture, but bottom line is she's just not that into you. Hence, case in point, why you don't involve each other in each other's lives, friends, family, and all those things. Because it's way too much too soon. And this tells me that even though you've read the book several times, you probably weren't really following it, even though you thought you were. He says, this weekend I was supposed to see her. She was at the beach with her ex. I found out due to him tagging her in Facebook posts saying, at the beach with my best friend. Friend zone still. But since they stayed at a hotel down there, it's probably friends with benefits. Yeah, she blew you off for the ex-boyfriend. That's just rude and it's disrespectful. I mean, she didn't even have the courtesy to call you. That is just plain fucking rude. And go, oh, I totally forgot to tell you that I couldn't make it. Fuck her. I wouldn't give this girl a time a day, dude. You deserve better. He says, I know they got history, which is tough to compete against, but he fucked up for being clingy in the past, and it's only a matter of time before it goes south. I think he's just being used as a therapist since she's still pretty upset about her father and likes the attention he gives her. Dude, you're making a hell of a lot of assumptions here. I know walk away and never look back, wait for her to reply to that text. It's been 2 days so far, but I find it difficult to get my mind off of it. I wouldn't have texted her again after she blew you off, dude. As far as if it was me, I would have been done with it. It wasn't like when she says, "Oh, I forgot about it," I would have said, thanks. I would have said, "Hey, let me know when you want to reschedule." I would have even never brought that up because in my mind, she's done. She's out of there. You want a woman who respects you, and when you start off a relationship with that kind of disrespect, without subconsciously or consciously, if you continue to date them, you are communicating that it's okay to treat you that way. And that shit will show up and manifest in other ways throughout the relationship. But I've found personally, when a woman does that, it's just better to never have anything to do with her again. Other than maybe hooking up a few times, it's just not worth it. He says, in between jobs, college doesn't start till late August, which is how I usually meet women. I tried the bar, but everyone goes with friends, and I feel like I'm intruding on them when I go up and start talking. All my friends are away from the summer. My weekends consist of me sitting at home, and I'm thinking to myself to death, I could try the approach 100 girls method. I did that 2 years ago when I first started following you, but I'm feeling like I'm starting at square one again. That's a great place to start out. Get your ass out there and start talking to women. Start asking women out on dates. Go watch the video improving your social skills. And if you don't like going to bars and nightclubs, go do something that you really love and you really enjoy. And when you're in college, there's lots of social organizations. Maybe join a fraternity, something like that, where you can hang out with other like-minded people that like the same kinds of things. That way, it's a lot easier to meet other people who socially have the same goals, values, and interests as you do. Because if you don't like going to bars or nightclubs and then you go out, you're going to feel weird, you're going to feel awkward, you're not going to be comfortable, and everybody's going to notice that. And that's going to affect your ability to create attraction with women. They're going to notice that. They're going to tell that you're not feeling very comfortable, and it's going to be hard for you to carry a conversation because you're just simply not having a good time. You'd be much better served to go get involved in activities and things where you're really loving what you're doing. But as far as this girl, I would never call or text her again. And if she does call or text you, invite her over to your place. Hey, you know what? Why don't you grab some coffee or wine or whatever and come on over and we'll make some dinner together. And if she balks at that, then just say, well, I'm just in the mood to hang. It's been a long week. Give me a call in 3 or 4 weeks and maybe we can do something a little more formal. In other words, unless she's willing to come over to your place, you ain't going out of your way from her. Dude, she blew you off when you made a date. The bottom line, as far as I'm concerned, she's disqualified herself. But if I were you, I'd start reading the book again because there's obviously a lot of holes in there that you're missing because you're still making unnecessary mistakes just from showing, just listening to what you're reading here. You don't sound like a guy who's read the book 4 times and been applying it. If you've been following me for 2 years and you've only read the book 4 times, it's like, dude, you need to learn the fundamentals. That's part of your problem. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.